안녕하세요. Hello, Bajiayo. Well, I'm back. I'm back from probably the best experience of my life. Well, I can't say the best experience. After all, I married my wife, and that was definitely the best experience of my life. But I've decided that I'm going to just do a recording here and just ramble. I'm just going to ramble. I apologize to all of my Korean viewers who don't speak English because there's no way in this earth I can possibly translate this because I'm just going to ramble. Um, I don't know how many of you know how I got to Korea, but I got to do this trip to Korea because I started this website or YouTube channel. Back in February, as many of you know, I decided to do a YouTube channel. I didn't really decide it. I have a friend, Bobby Sandler, who said to me, "You've been pestering us for years now, okay, with everything about K dramas and IU. Don't you think it's about time you started a YouTube channel?" And I said, "Oh, okay." But I'm not sure I ever really would have started the channel except Bobby made the push. One morning he just came over and he started to film me. And next thing I knew, I told him why I liked IU. I showed him my IU pictures. I'm sure you've all seen those videos on my channel. But that's how I got started. And so on February 1st, I started posting on this channel. And I had, I don't know, a handful of my friends would log in. I had a few hundred subscribers. It really was not exactly uh, I never expected anything to happen. Okay, so 3 weeks later, when IU found me and I got an invite, I was in total shock, as I think you can see from my videos on that topic. But in the process of all that hoopla that happened when IU found me and I suddenly had hundreds of thousands of views and thousands of subscribers, um, I got contacted by the Korea Tourism Organization in out of New York, and they said, "Well, would you like to go to Korea? We'll pay for everything. You come to Korea, and we have a special event." And I thought, I don't know what the event is, but I sure want to go to Korea. And so that's what I did. I certainly told them so, and I decided I would go. I was really excited. I mean, I've been trying to go to Korea for years. I tried to go to Korea and when the pandemic began. And because of the pandemic, my plans were canceled. And then I decided, well, I'll go 2 years later. And so 2 years later, what happens? the yeah, the pandemic's over, but Korea is still requiring a 2-week quarantine. And my wife's a teacher. We can't do a 2-week quarantine. So we decided to put that off. We decided we would go next spring, which was like 3 years later, because I have a series of, my wife's French. We had a series of things we had to do in France, like weddings and so on. So we did those things. And in fact, we plan to go back this spring. We will go back this spring. But I got contacted by the Korea Tourism Organization, and they said, we'll pay for everything. We have an event in May. Can you go?" And I thought, wow, you bet I can go. I'm definitely going. And so I did. So I said yes. And then I really didn't know what the event was. I didn't discover it was Korea Invites You until, like, I don't know, a couple of weeks before. I had no idea that 177,000 people had applied, that, from 185 countries, that only like I think a total of 49 people, went to Korea. I had no idea of any of this. I didn't actually apply. I just was selected. When I found out what a phenomenal thing it was, that it was a real thing, I was really stunned. And they paid for my trip, so of course I went. Now I got to say, I arrived in Korea, and it was like being on a college trip with all these people from all over the world who speak different languages. Thank goodness we all speak English, because other than English and French, I'm kind of helpless. So um, we were met, and uh, we went to see all kinds of things. While I was there, obviously the highlight for me was the Gyeongbokgung Palace. And that's the highlight because I've always wanted to go to it. After all, I've watched hundreds of Korean dramas, and I've seen that palace in so many scenes. I mean, so many palaces. And of course, I even got to get in a hanbok. And I got to tell you, my wife tells me I rock a hanbok, and I think I do. Come on, you got to admit. I'm sure you've seen those pictures of me in my hanbok. I look fantastic. Um, it was purple, it was beautiful, but of course the everyone else looked great. We had Maxine, oh, our group. I should say a shout out to my group. Okay, there Maxine was dressed as the king, the Wang, and there was Onon from Mongolia, and Philima from Thailand and Kamon from Thailand, Eiko from Japan, and of course our fearless leader Anna. I think it's all six of us. I said Maxime was from Belgium, I hope. Anyway, hi to everybody. I feel really bound to you all, and I can't wait to see you all again. I'm sure we'll manage to do that in the future. You can see this is a rambling format. I'm just saying whatever comes to mind. But great group of people. We had a wonderful time. Anna was an amazing tour guide. She really was. But walking the palace in my hanbok and looking at the women in our group, in fact, all the women everywhere were wearing hanboks. But the women in our group, I mean, come on, they were beautiful. Um, the hanbok is such a beautiful, beautiful feminine costume. I love them anyway, and I got to see. I couldn't believe how many people were in hanboks, in the palace. It was great. It was just great. I enjoyed every minute of touring the palace. Of course, we did a bunch of other things while we were there. We went up Namsan Tower. Oh, we went to the Buddhist temple. The Buddhist temple was really great, and Anna gave a wonderful description of Buddhism. She described the temple. Anna was absolutely great, and I have a video in the channel of the tour of at least part of the tour of the temple. And of course, we went to the Guangzhou market. I said Namsung Tower. I mean, we went to the National Museum, which was filled with one terrific artifacts. My background's in history, and I'm totally fascinated by things like museums. I love museums, and this museum was beautiful and modern, and incredible stuff inside. The grounds it was on were just beautiful and lovely to be on. Um, wow, I had a phenomenal time when I was in Korea. We did one really cool things after another. We ate a lot of traditional food. We had our chi make, although they served it with magoli, which is fine. Magoli's fine, but hey, it was chi make. I had to insist they bring out the beer. Well, what's the point of chi make without the make? Um, but um, the food choices were great. We got to do all kinds of interesting things every day, and they sure kept us busy. I get up early anyway. I'm always up at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Even here, I slept in after my huge trip, and I still got up at 5:45 this morning. Um, but we started at like 9 o'clock officially. We would meet, and we went till 8 o'clock at night. And I came back totally, totally beat every day. It was a good tired, but it was definitely tired, and we walked all day long, and it was just great. Went to Codex Mall. Uh, every day was filled. Every day was filled with activity. And because I had an interview on the Monday following with Arirang TV, and first time I've ever been on TV, let me digress. I've never sat in a makeup chair and had people make me up. I mean, they sat there fussing with every piece of my hair, and I sat at a news desk being interviewed. That is a new experience for me, I can assure you. I mean, I'm a former software engineer. I spent my whole life, like right now, in front of my computer. That's what I've done for the last 30 some odd years. So, in front of a camera and being interviewed, this is all really new stuff for me. But I think I digress to the point I forget what I was talking about. But this is supposed to be rambling. Guess what? I'm rambling. But I tend to ramble. Um, so I want to give a credit to all the people who took care of us too. The people from this organization who organized this Korean Vice were amazing. They were just amazing people. They were kind. They were helpful. Uh, my impression of all the Koreans with whom I interacted when I went to Korea this time was unbelievable. I can't tell you how kind everybody was. Here's a great example of how kind people were. I stayed the weekend with my friend Chung Min, who I met through all of this. He did an interview on his Good 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 channel. You could find it there. I did a reaction to his interview on my channel, but the actual interview is there. And we got to be friends, and so we were going around to different places, including the Hanok Village and another palace. So got to do all kinds of things, and there are videos of that. We got to go to the Guangzhou market again, this time more slowly, and there are videos of that I've done. Um, but I was on the subway and I drank water the wrong way, and I really, when you take it the wrong way, and I like sniffled at the same time. It was like something that really gets stuck at the top of my trachea, and I was really having trouble breathing. And I was not in good. I was coughing and it was really rough. And a complete stranger, an elderly man across the doors, like in the elderly section of the subway, saw I was having trouble. He walked over, a complete stranger, and he like enveloped me in his arms in a certain way, and he began to pat my back and stroke it. I could tell it was a technique, a learned technique. This wasn't just somebody patting your back. He was doing something, and by God, it cleared. Whatever he did cleared out whatever was bothering me there, and I could breathe again. And he could speak no English. I could speak no Korean. He just smiled at me. He gave me a bow, and I was able to bow back and say "Kamsamnida." But that's never happened to me before, where I'm having a problem and a complete stranger comes over and helps me like that. Let's just say that really reinforced my feeling that Koreans are really kind and generous people, and that I'm so touched. This is something I'll remember my whole life. I wish I knew who it was so I could say thank you. If you happen to have stumbled on this channel, thank you so much. As much as that helped physically, and it did. I mean, it was really important, and I was kind of scared the way I was having a real problem. Um, the kindness, the sheer kindness, okay, and was very, very touching, and I really appreciate it. Anyway, is there any more I can say about my trip? I couldn't have had a better time, and my wife and I are going to come back, and I want to take her to all the places that I saw in Seoul, plus View, and I'm sure I'll see my friend Chong Min, and he'll help us out to get around, make sure we don't miss anything. It sure helps to have somebody around who can actually speak Korean. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I uh, I had asthma as a little kid, so when I travel and I get sharp changes in weather or air quality, it causes me to cough and like that. So please don't be worried. I'm actually really healthy. I'm not sick. I'm not sick in any way. This is just that happens sometimes. And my family is very long lived. Well, very long lived. Uh, all of my aunts and my father lived into their mid to late 90s, and I've got aunts who lived into their hundreds. So we're very long lived family. I'm healthy. I'm physically active. Some people express worry because I cough sometimes on air, and because they think I'm old. And 76 isn't old. I mean, geez, I'm not elderly. Um, but I just don't want you to worry. Um, so, see, when I ramble, I lose track of what I'm talking about. I was talking about my trip, I'm sure. Oh yeah, and when my wife comes back, Chang Min, my friend, who I met this time, helped me on the weekend and took me around. I got to eat pufferfish soup. Wow, is that good? That's really delicious. I love Korean soups. Okay, and I had this one with spicy, not spicy, and I've discovered that I know I eat spicy food, but I eat food that's just as spicy or more spicy than Koreans do. So I fit right in. If you ever decide to invite me to dinner, you can serve spicy. I love it. I make a very spicy sundubujjigae. Okay, anyway, but we want to travel around, and his family lives in Busan. He's from Busan, and his mother has volunteered to cook with me if I go to Busan. Trust me, I'm going to Busan if only to spend time with a good Korean cook. I can only learn great things, and as you know, I really love to cook, and I've been learning for the last 6 to 8 months to cook Korean. I could do I've cooked a dozen or so things that I can do probably five of them really well. Um, and of course, I would love to go to Jeju Island. I hope I can find a hotel to comp me there. Say, bring me there, I'll film for you, that kind of stuff. Because I'd love to be able to spend some time on Jeju. I'd love to go see the women divers of Jeju. Recently, we had a dance group from Jeju come and do a performance locally, and I think I did a little short so you could see that who they were. Um, I don't know. Have I rambled my way out yet? I've hit the 14-minute mark, and I'm the kind of person who never knows when to stop talking. So this is a rare opportunity for me to just get in front of you and just talk. And so I've done so. In the meanwhile, I'm so happy to be back to be able to review the IU material. We've had IU all this weekend, and I just did my first IU reaction. But I feel like I'm IU deprived. Um, I love starting my day listening to IU, looking for interesting things that she's done that maybe nobody else knows about. Um, you probably don't know this, that I love IU. And I get to go back to Korean dramas. Now that Lovely Runner has finished, I can watch it. I think there's only one episode left. By the time I get to the last episode, it'll be done. I'm a binger. I only watch when I can binge. That means the program has to be finished before I even start it. I absolutely hate being ready for the next episode and it's not ready yet. Wait a week? Not on your life. Okay, anyway, this binger will go back to watching his Korean dramas and producing reaction videos. Um, I'll finish it again by saying this was an absolutely phenomenal time I had. Everybody involved in helping out here were terrific. Here, the people in New Jersey, Jay Hari, who was the first one to contact me, and Saw Juri. Thank you so much, both of you, for allowing this to happen for me. And for all of you that I met while I was in Korea, and all the people who worked for the organization in Korea, and of course my travel mates. God, this was wonderful. This was a moment in my life. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye for now. I think I'll have another cup of coffee, have a cup of tea, recover a little more. Maybe I'll be a little slower in my videos this week just because I'm exhausted. Okay. Okay.